there is a number one absolute must if you're wanting to get to the next level in your life. If you want your journey in spirituality to get to that next level in life. If you want your marriage to get to that next level in life. If you want more abundance in your life. If you want an extraordinary relationship with your kids and you're like, man, this is not going the way that I thought it was going to go. And you want that to be a beautiful, beautiful experience. If you want to find amazing growth friends in your life, then listen, this is a number one absolute must. For all of those things, this is a prerequisite because the divine maker has endowed you and endowed me with this number one absolute critical factor. And what it is you've been endowed with the ability to have response ability, to have the ability to respond, to have, carry and feel and be liberated with responsibility. And so if you want to be happy, fulfilled, listen, have you ever met an irresponsible, happy person? I haven't. Have you met an irresponsible, fulfilled, and satisfied person in life? Have you met an irresponsible person who wins championships? Have you met an irresponsible person who you want to hang around? And so the idea is to start with taking 100% total responsibility for your life, for your future, for your family. And you're like, Aaron, that doesn't seem right. Like, it's not my fault. I walk into a room, my kids are going bananas. And so shouldn't they take part of the responsibility? Listen, this is going to be like going to the doctor's office and being prescribed medicine that doesn't taste very well. You want everybody else to take the medicine? Like, wouldn't it be a great world if everybody else took 100% responsibility? Yeah, this is the kind of video where you're like, hey, get in here, husband. Hey, spouse, get in here. Kids, watch this video. Everybody needs to take 100% responsibility. And man, the rooms would, you just breathe better. The oxygen would flow better. Because the truth of the matter is, there's only one and only one person totally responsible for the outcomes in your life, for the results that you're getting. And that person, of course, you know this, is you. It's not your mama. It's not your dad. It's not your government. It's not your church. It's not your gym. All those things are set up to serve you, to be there, to enrich your life. But they can't do it for you. And one of the major problems in our culture today is that we have been conditioned to blame, complain, and shame our way through life. And that is not a life that's going to bring ultimate satisfaction, ultimate fulfillment, and an extraordinary amount of abundance of whether it's wealth or love or kindness into your life. And here's the truth of the matter. This is the medicine part. It is. Everything that you're experiencing right now, everything in your house, everything in your life, everything in your thoughts, all of your emotions is a direct result of you either causing it or allowing it in your life with your standards or goals. Everything that you can think of. Take a look around wherever you're sitting right now or standing. Look around and everything that's there and everything that you feel is a total direct connection to you either causing it or allowing it into your life. So if you want to get to the next level of your marriage, if you want to have an extraordinary family, if you want an amazing amount of abundance to come into your life, if you want to start that business and take it to 10x levels, then this is an absolute must, total 100% responsibility for your life. And if you don't believe that to be true, this is going to fall on deaf ears. If you know this intuitively, and I think you do, then these are 3 steps that you're going to be able to take to make sure you're taking responsibility. Because when you take responsibility, you will feel free, you will feel lighter, you will feel liberated to be able to have what the divine has given you to march unencumbered and be responsible for the results that you want for your life. So here's number 1. No more excuses for your life. It's not fun to hear, is it? An excuse is something didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to turn out, and so you explain it away or rationalize it with a reason. And I don't know about you, but when I give an excuse, I feel better. I just feel better. Like, I feel better in the moment. And the problem with it is that it caps your possibility. It caps your potential in life. And so excuses don't help anyone or anything in accomplishing what you want to accomplish, whether it's the science of achievement or art of ultimate fulfillment in your life. And some common excuses that we give are, you know what, that'll just take too long. I don't have enough time. It's too hard. I can't write that book until I feel inspired. I don't feel inspired right now. I don't have enough money to do that. I'm too young to start that. I'm too young to begin a new dream. I don't have enough education. What would people want to hear from me? I don't have enough experience. What if I mess up? I don't know enough. I don't have enough connections. And so I'm not going to be able to get very much traction. What if I fail? It's the economy. It's the Republicans. It's the Democrats. It's the independents. And the real reason is none of the excuses. The excuse, just watch people give excuses. Those aren't the real reasons. Here's the real reason. Fear. You're afraid, I'm afraid of things like getting embarrassed if I start and mess up, that I appear less significant to other people. I'm comparing myself with them, which leads to unhappiness. I'm afraid that I'm going to make mistakes. I'm afraid that I'll be perceived as a failure. And excuses then are like popping pills to cure a disease that the pills can't cure. The excuses are the pills, but the disease is pride. It's pride. We compare ourselves. We want to look good. And excuses cannot cure that kind of disease. That takes something quite different to cure. So the idea is no mas. Everybody say no mas with me. I don't care if you're in the gym listening to this, you're watching this on YouTube. No mas, no more excuses for your life. Because listen, every excuse that you give feels justified. Aren't all reasons justified in some sense? They are, but they don't improve your life. And when you take 100% responsibility, no more excuses, you'll feel better. So the next time, bite your tongue, move on, no excuses. Number 2 is take the role of playing the victim right out of your life. No more playing victim in your life. It's a victim mentality says it's somebody else's fault. I'm not responsible for this. And this has gone on since the earliest times. I was reading my Bible the other day, and I saw Adam and Eve, and I was reading that old story. Whether you believe they were actually real or not, the story exists, and you see Adam, he's hiding in a garden, and God walks in and says, "Hey, Adam, where are you at?" And Adam says, "Well, you know, I'm hiding because I'm naked." And God says, "Who told you you were naked?" He's like, I'm just naked and I can't come out of the garden, and you didn't clothe me. How would you expect? Of course I'm going to be in hiding. It's not my fault that I'm naked. Nobody dressed me. And so from the earliest times, he's playing victim. And so God's like, well, did you eat of the apple? Did you eat of the tree? Because listen, there was only one rule. Don't eat from the tree. You don't need a bunch of rules and laws when people take 100% responsibility. Isn't that true? If your family members took 100% responsibility, you wouldn't need a bunch of rules. If our country took 100% responsibility, if the President of the United States, Democrats, Republicans, you, me as a citizen, took 100% responsibility for our actions, we wouldn't need a bunch of laws. We just wouldn't. And he said, listen, this is what he said, right? I ate from the tree. I take full 100% responsibility. I ate the apple. Whatever you do, don't blame Eve. She's 100% innocent. That's not what I read. That's not in the Bible. Rather, it's, she did it. It was the woman. who ate the apple. She's the one that gave it to me. And listen, God, I didn't ask for the woman. Yeah, when I saw her and you asked me to name her, I said, whoa, man, let's name her woman because she is beautiful. But listen, I didn't ask for her, and she's the one that gave me the apple. And look at the mess she has created. And isn't this why we have so many problems in our own personal lives and in our country and the world, civilization? Because nobody's taking responsibility. We're always, playing the victim. So God turns to Eve and says, Eve, is this true? What happened? And she goes, it was the serpent. I'm not responsible. I'm the victim. He smoothed on me. And everybody else is responsible for the outcomes and results of your life. That when you're playing victim, it's like, you know what? The government's not doing enough for me. My in-laws, they're not loaning me the money. My coach is dissing me. It's because of my race, my background, whatever. And so they're benching me. And listen, there's serious, serious consequences for your life and your livelihood when you play the victim. It poisons your spirit and it pollutes your relationships. It poisons your spirit and it pollutes your relationships. I know that I've been totally guilty of this, and I'll throw a pity party every now and then. And I'll be like, oh, woe is me. And what I realized was nobody liked to come to my pity parties. And if they were already there when I started the pity party, they left me. And that made me even more sad. And I'm like, nobody wants to be a part of my pity party. Nobody wants to be a part of anyone's pity party. And listen, I know firsthand that there are crappy situations out there. I have sat with rape victims where they've poured out what happened. And I cried and cried and cried with them and put my arm around them and hugged them and helped them get through that process. I've sat with abused children and war veterans and things that should never happen to people. And it wasn't their fault. They were born into that situation and they trusted somebody and it was just a horrible situation. And listen, they had every right to have a pity party. If anybody did, it was these people. Not me. It was definitely these people. And they could have clung to their rights. And some did. And they excused and played victim. And they had every right to do it. And they remained stuck. And other people, they say, it's not about my rights, it's about my responsibilities. When I don't focus on my rights, but I focus on my responsibilities, there's a shift in consciousness. And half those people that I sat with and cried with, they had this shift of rights to responsibilities. And these are the people, despite their extenuating circumstances, they found a way to get out of that crappy situation. And there are thousands of people who have gone through very similar situations. I mean, there's been billions of people on this planet. They've gone through similar situations as you and I, and they found their way out. And speaking victimese, what it essentially does is hands the pen to somebody else or a group of people or an elected officer and says, here, you write my story because I'm waiting for you to give me money. I'm waiting for you to write my book. I'm waiting for you to get me the house. I'm waiting for you to give me results so then I can do something. And so we wait on them. We give them the pen of our life. And I'm challenging us today to take back the pen and write the story of life because you've been endowed with this amazing thing called responsibility. To take 100% responsibility for your life. Time to rewrite your story. So, no more excuses. Take out the role of victim, and then never again, blame, shame, or complain. I mean, we should never shame people. We should never shame ourselves. You know, so many of us beat ourselves up. You beat yourself up way too many times. Give yourself credit. You're here. You're breathing. You made it this far. And shaming is making people feel less than they are. And there's no sense in doing that. And blaming and complaining, there's not going to help. Some things that people complain about is, I gotta work 40 hours this week. The weather, it's raining. The Wi-Fi, it's so slow. Facebook status. Can you believe what he wrote? Grammar Nazis. It's Monday again. My grades. And I sit there and I think, listen, I have done my fair share of this. But once you start doing this is nonsense because it doesn't help anything. And I hear people say, well, I got to work 40, 50 hours this week. And I think much of the world lives on less than $2 a day. $2 a day. And I'm complaining that I have a job that pays me money. And the weather, it's raining outside. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's so many people in hospice right now looking out the window, watching the rain, wishing they could just touch it for the last time. Or slow Wi-Fi. I'm totally guilty of this. I'm throwing my shoe at the wall. Hurry up, Wi-Fi. I got things to do, places to be, people to see. And the Wi-Fi is taking 2 minutes. And never in the history of civilization have we had total access to the world's information at our fingertips. And I'm sitting there complaining that it's taking an extra 2 minutes. Or Facebook statuses, or the grammar Nazis. I write books and people are, hey, you should have done it this way. And I'm like, relax. Or Mondays. I've just been given another week, and this could be my last Monday on earth, and I'm complaining about that. Or I work at a university with students and professors, and some of them complain. Oh, they come into my office and say, oh, Aaron. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is it? I'm like, oh, you wouldn't believe this. I'm like, oh, sit down. Here, you need some Kleenex. What's going on? Seriously, how can I help? How can I serve? And they say, oh, it's not gonna believe it. I got an A-. And I'm sitting there, are you serious? You got an A-? That's awesome. I'm like, no. My parents are going to kill me, and I'm not going to get into grad school. I got an A-. I got the minus. And I'm thinking, you're at a premier university in the world that less than 5% in the world can go to. And you're going to steer the world system someday. And you're worried about a minus? I can't help you. Get out of my office. That's what I say. I can't help them. There's something wrong there. Something wrong. And when people do complain or blame, they do it to the wrong person. People on sports teams, they go home, they complain to their spouse about their sports team. They go to their sports team and they complain about their spouse. Just talk to the person. Go to the person and say, hey, look, I'm sorry, or this isn't working. We need to make this happen better and improve the situation. But the reason why we don't do that is because we lack courage. Find the courage and make it happen. And when we go to other people and say, here, I got all this stress, it's essentially saying, I want you to carry my stress. I'm tired of carrying it. You carry it for a while. And that's totally unfair. There's no reason why marriages fight and argue. So the first step is just to go totally cold turkey on all of this. It's not your government's fault. It's not your school board's fault. It's not your principal's fault. It's not your student's fault. It's not your athlete's fault. It's not your team's fault. It's not your coach's fault. It's not your boss's fault. It's not your mama's fault. It's not your spouse's fault. It's none of their fault. It's to say, I'm going to be the kind of person that takes 100% responsibility for my life. So my question to leave you with today is this. What do you need to take responsibility for 100% of the time? What's everything? But what particular that you're going through right now in your life that this month you could work on that? And when you do, you'll be liberated, you'll feel more free, your life will feel lighter, you'll feel more fun, you'll feel more empowered to achieve your goals and live the art of fulfillment, taking total 100% responsibility. When you do that, you'll begin to attract the rich resources, the right people, the joy, the abundance, the fulfillment, the championships, the peace and happiness into your life.